Welcome back. I hope you've had time to take your VIA assessment that we talked about in the last episode. If you didn't, I would encourage you to go actually listen to the last episode where we talked about the VIA assessment, which 35 million people have taken to help them learn about their character strengths, and something that multiple psychologists have developed to help us understand what is it about the individual that they can lean into that are character strengths that are not necessarily unique to them, but which are really important to their identity. These character strengths, when we talk about character strengths, we all share, it's like a universal language, right? It's that we all share it. And it's something when we see it in other people, even if we don't maybe even know their language, we don't know anything about their history or where they live, but when we see them doing certain things or see them treating people certain ways, we recognize that goodness in the other person. We recognize that character strength, them practicing a character strength. And so these character strengths, they're universal character strengths that just help us to understand what about us is human and what about us specifically is us when we're at our best. Living our life in such a way where we are fulfilled or we're building positive relationships around us and when we are achieving what we want to achieve. I think every creator would be much more confident if they felt like they were aligned with the things about them that were strong. I think they'd be more confident if they felt like the effort that they were engaging in was maybe bigger than themselves. And character strengths are a pathway for doing those things. So let's think about character strengths for a minute. When I talked about the VIA assessment, I said, hey, this is something psychologists have come up with. 35 million people have taken it. If you haven't taken it, or if you did take it, you would have noticed that there were 24 character strengths. So if you didn't take it, know that there are 24 character strengths. If you did take it, you probably saw, oh, hey, there's 24 strengths here, and it maybe listed out your top 5 and featured them specifically. Those are what we would call signature strengths, which are important. But those other strengths, all the strengths are important, and there are 24 of them. Now, those strengths are creativity, curiosity, open mindedness, love of learning, perspective, honesty, bravery, persistence, zest, kindness, love, social intelligence, fairness, leadership, teamwork, forgiveness, modesty, prudence, self regulation, appreciation of beauty, gratitude, hope, humor, and spirituality. As you were listening to that list of character strengths, do you see how maybe some of your favorite artists actually practice those things in the creation of their art? And I know obviously there's things like creativity and curiosity. We can see those things in artists. But I want you to think about some of the other things as well. Think about zest. Can you think of any of your favorite artists, writers, poets, filmmakers, whatever, who had a zest for life? Do you know any bloggers or podcasters who you believe exhibit kindness to others? Do you know anybody or do you have any leaders that you respect? Do you know creative minded people who regularly practice teamwork? When I think of a creator, I think of somebody who's using their voice and expressing their voice in a way that reflects their autonomy, that reflects their competence, and that reflects their relevance. Maybe even helps them to grow in relevance. Maybe it helps all those, maybe their art helps them to grow in all three of those things, right? That's human motivation. And if that's true, if we use our voice to help us grow in the things that make us human, it's these character strengths and the practice of these character strengths that can help be the foundation for the things that we create. I know of so many bloggers, for example, including one that comes to mind right now is Brene Brown, who talked about blogging about gratitude, right? Brene Brown isn't just blogging, she's practicing gratitude with her blog. And that's just one example. There are many examples of strengths that people practice through their creative expression. So the VIA assessment, when you take that assessment, if you haven't already done so, it's going to rank your 24 strengths by the ones that you're strongest in. And about 5 of them are going to be your signature strengths. Now, you may or may not resonate with all the strengths that they identify as your signature strengths. That at the level of the self-assessment we're talking about, it's not like you have to think of it as a prescription of your life or a prescription of who you are. More what you should do is you should use it as an exercise in thinking about what you are strong in as a person and thinking about how well is my creative action, how well is all this creative activity I want to do or I'm doing now, how well is it aligned with my character strengths, those broad things that just make me human. So what you should do, if you haven't already done so, take the VIA assessment, learn about your character strengths. And you have done that, think about and reflect on your top signature strengths. Because it's your signature strengths that will energize you, that are essential to your identity, and that for you just come naturally. When you're practicing your character strengths, you feel good about the work you're doing. And when you practice your character strengths, you're making a big impact with the people around you. When you practice your character strengths, it's no longer about trying to be perfect or trying to impress other people, even if you do those things. It will be about you expressing yourself in the way that's best for you to express yourself. It will be you living creatively on your own terms. So try that out. Tell me how it works for you, and I'll see you in the next episode.